right back from square one. First thing I'm going to do is restore my sample files. So I'll go to part, restore. I'm going to browse to ME templates, CMM, and sample files. I'll grab cat 1000 and say open and OK. And there we go. So that should give you a part directory that has programs 021, 031, 061, 071, and 081. This is a little bit shorter of the list than the GeoPack parts list, because a lot of the stuff that was in the regular GeoPack parts list is exactly the same when you do it on cat 1000. I figure there's no sense in making you do that twice. So this is only the labs where the measurement itself is different. I'm going to go grab my program that I created using cat 1000. And for today, my program is Ben's program. Thank you for volunteering. And with my program, I'll put it in the parts list on the right side. I'm just turning the screen off so everybody doesn't see everybody else's grades, that's all.
It's very nice of you.
I don't think there are any grades in there yet. But.
Other than the quizzes.
What's that?
Other than the quizzes.
Oh, other than the quizzes, yeah. I don't think anybody needs to see anybody else's score. All right. So I'm going to go in the right parts list now, and I will restore the program that I wrote on that computer. So I click on the right parts list, I go part, restore, I go and grab my file. And there we go. So there's only one program in this parts list. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is open up the example file in the part program editor. So I'm using example 021 because that's the program that I downloaded for today. Notice that when I open it up into the editor, I now have two options. I have production or setup. Let's go take a look inside of the setup file and see what we have. This looks like standard protocol that we used when we did the manual alignment. We have a programmable stop that shows you how to set up the fixture. We grab our probe data from archive, grab probe number 1 so that we know the probe is pointing down, and then we just do align coordinate system, and that's it. Okay. So I'm going to X out of this, and I'll go right back into the same program, but this time, when we get this dialog that says open, I'll open the production program instead of the setup. I'm just curious to see what the difference is. So here is all the working text from our program. This is what actually drives the machine. So we have a text to screen that tells you to open cat 1000 and import the part in the fixture, and then a text to screen to open the example in the edit mode. Those are instructional pieces of text, so that way you know what you should do when you're programming this originally. Probe data from archive loads the probe, then we change the probe to point it down. And rather than doing a regular align coordinate system here, we load the coordinate system. So that takes the coordinate system that we establish when we run the setup program and just uses it. It doesn't require you to drive around and touch points on the part anymore. It just looks at whatever coordinate system is there. That'll save you a ton of time. Do you notice when you're proving out your programs in the last couple of weeks, If you made any mistakes, you ended up having to go rerun the manual alignment a lot of times, which is a huge waste of time. Using this architecture, where we have one setup program that establishes the coordinate system and a different one that just looks at that coordinate system, will save you from having to do that. Okay, so we load the coordinate system, and then we set that coordinate system to the CAD model. And that's what allowed us to do our offline programming. We have some more instructional text that tells us how to program the part. You're going to show machine position and blah, blah, blah. And then the rest of this is just the actual commands in the program, where we touch the plane, touch the line, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you can think of the setup program as tell the machine where the part is, and the production program as this is what I want to inspect when I put a production part on there and hit go. Okay, so all we've done here is parse the two of them out. Okay, so with that in mind, I'll leave the production program open from the example. And now I'm going to go to my program from the right parts list, and I'll launch that into the editor as well. And notice when I launch it into the editor, I don't get that dialog that pops up that says which program do you want, either production or setup. That's because I wrote this program using offline programming, so I never created the setup program. I'm going to go create it now. So we have two windows open in the editor right now. That's a bit confusing. I'm going to hit the pull down on window and say tile windows vertically. So now you can see the example program is on the left side. It's auto align production. And then my program's over here. It's circles and my initials. All right, well, I'm going to start off with my program active. And I'll do a file, change name. So right now the name of my program is production 030 or whatever it is. This is the program that actually has the text that drives the machine around when I inspect the real part. So this wants to be a production program. I'll rename this production. Say OK. So now you can see the name of my program updates itself. Still says 030 circles and then my initials, but after it, in parentheses, it says production. So the first name, 030-circles, that's the name of the container. That's what you see when you look at Parts Manager. That is this name right here. And then what follows it in parentheses is the name of the actual program that drives the machine. Okay, so I'm still on my program, 030 circles production. I'm going to do a file, save as. You can see I have my part name as an option up top here. I'm going to leave that alone. But then I can change my program name, and I'll change this program name to setup. And notice again over here, my part name is still the same, but now in parentheses it says setup instead of production. I just created a copy of the same exact program within that container. So I now have a program for setup and a program for production, but as of right now they say the exact same thing because I just did a save as. So this is the setup one. I really want all of this text to go away, right? So I'll just highlight everything and delete it. To quickly highlight everything, you can click on your program and do a Control A, or whatever your favorite way of highlighting everything is. I recommend Control A. So we're highlighting everything, and we'll just delete it. And then I'll save that. So now we have a setup program, but it doesn't have any commands in it. What commands do we need to add to our setup program?
Programmable stop.
Yep, programmable stop. I don't remember all of them from memory, so let's go look at the sample files. So I do already have a sample file open, but this one's not helping me. This is the production sample file. I really want to open the setup sample file for this part.